Alright, so today I've just mocked up, stupid GoPro, I just mocked up the screamer pipe. I run out of 1D bends, so this bottom part is 1.5D, you can kind of slightly see it. But it worked out well because it's obviously a bit of a tight radius to get out here. So it goes in there like so. And it's just going to vent to the ground. We don't have enough time to plumb it in, so gonna make it a noisy boy. Should sound pretty good. But yeah. And then what are you doing today, Jono?
Oh, just some wiring, eh?
Just some wiring?
Show the internet my wiring.
Yeah, you did a good job, eh? So he runs the 12 volt wire from the battery and the boot to here, and then runs a 12 volt stud, so they still get power to the ECU and stuff, and then obviously power for the alternator and starter motor and stuff here as well.
Nice neat way of doing it.
Yeah, very nice job, Jono.
Thank you.
Looks like you've done it a few times now, eh? Couple betties. But yeah, everything's coming together pretty nicely. Got what's today? Monday. Monday we got 4 days pretty much, get it going. So I think the goal is Mark's going to do some team viewer for us, was it Wednesday afternoon? So yeah, hopefully we get all our stuff back from powder coating tomorrow. Bit of a late minute powder coat. I thought I got everything done last week, but as per usual, start putting the car together and then realise that you didn't get all of it. Actually had to modify the upper intake as well, just to clear my coils with the new lower intake. Alright, another day down. So it's Tuesday morning. We still have a fair bit of shit to do today. So all the black marks are ones that we have to do today. Well, before lunchtime tomorrow, because we're going to do a team view with Mark, and Mark's going to do a startup tune for us. So yeah, busy day. Got the screamer pipe in there last night, all welded up. Pretty happy how that came out. James usually does all the titanium welding, but really wanted to get back into it and had to go. It's definitely a tricky material to work with if you don't get it right. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Up in there, you can see a couple places I lost my purge on the inside where it's gone white. But other than that, everything else is pretty good. So yeah, jobs this morning, get some bolts, got to do oil feed in return for the turbo, got to do water feed in return for the turbo, get some parts from Mazda, do all the vacuum lines. James is going to do the downpipe. I've got to go get some bungs for EGTs and EMAT bungs, mount the fuel filter and put that on. So it's going to be a busy day, wish us luck. Thought while I was here I might as well show you a couple other jobs we've got going on at the moment as well. Got Shane's beautiful Evo. So James has done a new stainless exhaust system for it. So Shane wanted to retain all the factory looking pickup points. He's got all brand new bolts for the whole lot. So all sheet metal hangers the whole way. The rear muffler actually had a couple rust holes on it, so I welded them up, sanded them back. He's got that ceramic coated, come out real nice. He wanted to go with the 2.5 inch system, so it's still a really responsive setup. He's keeping factory turbo, it's just been a bigger boost actuator put on it. But yeah, James has been very pedantic about this. If you look at it from the side, all the tubes, it's very parallel with everything else. It's done an awesome job, very nice. And then we've got another one just come in the shop today, or last night as well. V8 R8, it's actually V8 turbo, or LS3 turbo. So we've imported a Plasman intake for the, Plasman intercooler for it, Plasman and Plasman billet rocker covers. We're going to do 1A IGN coil upgrade, new looms, just tidy up the engine bay. See if the bonnet's actually, the car's open. It's a very cool car, very, very cool car. As you can see, so I believe it runs one of the Kiloboost turbo setups from the guys in the from Australia. It's a pretty sweet setup, very tight for space, these things, to do turbo swaps. So owner just wants to tidy up the engine bay, so we're going to do a 3.5 inch intercooler pipe on this side, probably 3 inch on that side, so all new intercooler piping. And we get rid of the shitty airflow intercooler because it's heat soaking like a hot dog. Going to put the billet rocker covers on there, get rid of the old core packs, run the billet rocker covers, 1.8 IGN cores. We're going to mount them up underneath there so they're a bit hidden. We might see if we can put them behind that cowl panel, we'll see what's going on. New fuel rails, and then try to tidy up all these hoses and stuff. Just make it look way more appealing in the engine bay. But yeah, very cool car. Can't wait to get into this one. Probably will be next week now after we get this RX7 done. But alright, Tuesday night. For a moment this afternoon we all felt like we were actually going backwards, which is never a really good feeling. Whole bunch of like a couple of things got re-powder coated, like the upper intake and AST tank, the air tank, these little brackets, this little machine boss, because we're running the South Coast rotary lower intake, the idle control valve actually just touched on a coil kit, so we got Mike at Device Co machined us up this little boss. So yeah, the tank and stuff all got powder coated, and they must have a new guy that works at the powder coaters and with our AST tanks. I don't know if you look, but there's like a little badge on the front, so they usually paint them and then they wipe their finger over it to take the powder off before they bake them. This guy lost that memo, so it's actually at the acid stripper at the moment, and they did that upper intake as well, and it like blistered everywhere. So that's getting re-acid washed at the moment as well. Plan was to get Mark on the team viewer tomorrow around 1 o'clock and set up all the timing and everything and kick her in the guts for the first time. Might be pushed back, maybe a day. I think me and John are going to try to work late to try to get most of it done. But it's just all up to getting the stuff out from the acid stripper in the morning. If we didn't get it done tomorrow and we got done the day after, then we weren't going to get it powder coated in time for the weekend. So it's kind of put us in a bit of a hole. This is the surge tank that James made, and the little plate that I made that bolts to the subframe. So this bolts to the subframe. Obviously surge tank, main pickup pump sits here, and then the water meth tank sits on this side. I built this little shield here to try to protect it all from the exhaust. Obviously still the exhaust still comes out from underneath. So I'm going to put some of the ACL heat shielding on the outside and on the inside as well, and then it'll be all around here as well. So there'll be no physical area that it's exposed to the exhaust temperatures, hopefully. We are running a fuel pressure and temp switch in here for that reason, just so we can monitor that to see if it does heat up or not, if we have to try move it somewhere else. Be cool to test it out. Just been having the absolute nightmare of trying to do up these two fittings here on my fuel rails. Obviously with the South Coast rotary low intake manifold, they run 4 secondaries and 2 primaries. So when these fuel rails are actually installed on these ones, the bracket that goes here, that goes to the rail, the injector the plug can't go around any further, and then the secondary, the primary rail bottoms out on it. So I've actually had to sand just the slight edge off that plug, so this rail will sit square and do up properly, and the injector's all nice and tight now. So yeah, so we're running 4 1150cc secondaries and then 2000 cc's. The reason behind low cc is obviously we're running 4, and then we'll also be running the water meth setup as well, which is here, and that goes down to the bottom of the intake. So Mark seems to think that's enough with the dash 6 feed in return. So he's the man that's done this many times, so we'll go off what he says. Obviously this is our first semi-peripheral port we've built before, and he's been helping us out so much with getting this one right. So James got the first section of the downpipe tapped up and made today. So there'll be obviously a shield that'll all come around here and seal that all off. You will see the top of the downpipe, but there's going to be shielding that all goes around here. Don't know if we'll get it done in time for the show, but I think it'll be more left until afterwards, just before we hit the dyno. I've got 3 of the 4 oil quarter lines made. I'm just going to make that one. I forgot a 90 today, so that is what it is. So obviously runs at airflow. Fuck, it's been a long day. Airflow oil thermostat. Regulate temperatures. So obviously when it's warming up, it'll just bypass straight back into the engine, from there back into the back. And then once it gets up to temp, then it'll go through both their 25-row oil coolers that we made brackets and mounting hardware for. So you can buy these on our website as well. We are going to try to set these up maybe a little bit better, but yeah, you'll be able to do some true testing with this setup on this car. But yeah, hopefully the old G40 goes pretty good. Been hyping it up to everybody, so hopefully it's what I say it is. Hey Jono.
Yeah, we're hoping so. Promised a lot.
Apparently so. So yeah, I also got the oil feed line made from there to the turbo, which is that one. Just put some sleeving on that then. Made the oil return. We like to run either Aeroflow or a Franklin Engineering. Oh, this bloody GoPro sorts its shit out. Billet adapter that goes off the bottom of the turbo, so either 50 or 75mm off there, and then we run the Aeroflow stainless steel dash 10 flexi hose now, and you don't have to run 2 fittings, hose, and then sleeving over the top. And then same with the Franklin Engineering lower, so it's just a 2-bolt 50mm extender, all available on our website. And then setting up the water feed in return for the turbo. So we got feed in from this side, and then return from that side. What we didn't realise was when we put the fitting in the AST tank, when the turbo wasn't on there, to account for that fitting there as well, because obviously this turbo manifold's moved slightly up and forward just to allow for the bigger turbo, and we didn't account for the fittings would be side by side, and so it ended up being too close. So I've tapped that to 1/8 MPT. I'm going to run a 90 degrees straight out of that, and then that fitting will just screw in straight into the side of it. That'll allow for that clearance. It was a bit of a bugger though. If I can hit it all bolted up and then had to unbolt everything and cut the old AN fitting off and drill and tap it out, but still part of this custom stuff, eh? But yeah, I guess that's probably why it's been a pretty stressful afternoon. Always when you feel like you're trying to progress and you're just going backwards, it's not really a fun feeling. So, but everything for the last few hours has been pretty positive. Hopefully we can carry that on for another couple of hours before we head home. Alright, so it's pretty much midnight. We're heading home.
Yeah, I'm going to have to tell the boss I'm going to be in late for it.
Got the power steering lines all mounted. John has pretty much done all the wiring but mounting the fuse box temporary. What are you going to do with that? You're changing the fuse box, eh? It involves wires, so yes.
I think he's going to try and put it in behind the oil cooler there somehow.
Yeah,
okay.
you're going to mount another fuse box, eh?
I think one on one side of the bracket, one on the other side.
Yeah.
The wheel arch area. I think something like that.
Mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much everything else is done. I've put the fuel pump and stuff back in here. The lines are up there ready to go. You've already run the wires for fuel pump and stuff, eh?
Yep.
Mate. Time to clean up and head home. Get back in the morning. I got one of the mufflers. I sort of muck around with the TI pie cuts. So it does look a bit funny looking at it like this, but once it's in the car, it makes sense. So bear with me. So tomorrow I'll put it in there and show you guys what it'll actually look like before we weld it all up. Probably gonna just weld the muffler up, mount it, and maybe put a bit of tube on the back and mount it to the car. So it looks like it's got a full exhaust, but it'll actually just have the downpipe, the screamer, and the rear muffler installed, and we still have to do in between next week or the week after before the dyno. Just running out of time. There's a lot of things that we want to tidy up, but just clearly a month wasn't enough time, eh, Jono? Oh well, back tomorrow. Alright, it's been a long day, long morning already, long afternoon. Beautiful day though. So finally got all this stuff back from powder coating. It's going back on at the moment. Just putting oils in. John is doing the vacuum lines. Everyone's pretty stressed. James is fucking overworking on this car. Just giving the downpipe a bit of a polish. Probably should have polished the straight tube first before we welded it on, but once you got the heat shielding around it, you won't actually see it, but you only really see the top section. The reason why we run these is obviously titanium doesn't like vibrations and heat, so that's to add a little bit more brace so that they don't just rip out. But yeah, super happy how this come out. At a later date we'll pull it out and we'll give it a repolish, because we've still got to pump the waste skin in at some stage later on. But we're just going to run it external for now. But yeah, chuck it back in the car. We're going to leave it raw. We're going to let it naturally colour itself. We've got to polish this BOV weld on now, and then we're going to anodise this gold like the air intake pipe. But this come out very nice. You can see it in there. Can't wait to see this all coloured up though. Should come out pretty good. Alright, good morning. Sorry I didn't do much filming yesterday. Yesterday was a roller coaster of mixed emotions, really. That's the only way to say it. So many ups and downs. Just that last push to try and get everything done to the standard that you want it to be done at. Overcome all the hurdles we pretty much had yesterday, which is awesome. So today, last night I re-anodised this pipe. I'm super happy with the result on that. But then I tried to do the same settings from that one to this one and it slightly overcooked it again. So, I'm going to be polishing that again today by the looks of it. But yeah, so today is going to be the last day we're going to work on this car. Even though we've got a day before we actually go down, I want to have a family day tomorrow. I haven't really seen my family much for the last 3 to 4 weeks, so I really need to spend a day with the little one until I take her to the AMP show. So yeah, today I'm going to try to get the whole interior back in, the boot back in. As you can see, there's a bit of a mess still going on in there. So I got to work out all my airlines. All this stuff's just going to be thrown in here for now. I'll tidy that up. I've made a plate that everything sits on and gets mounted to, but just don't have the time or the mental capacity right now to go through that. John has pretty much tidied up most of the wiring on the inside, which is awesome. Just got to put that kick panel back on the inside there, put the rear seat back in, bottom of the seat, centre console, try to get most of the interior back in. James is making up a little oil filler net at a TI, wherever it is. Where'd you put your filler net? Right there. So a little oil filler net, so it's got a baffle plate on the bottom of it with an O-ring, all in TI of course. So we're going to give that a polish up after he's welded it. We'll make that gold as well. Super stoked how that's come out. But yeah, and maybe we try and mount a muffler on the back as well and make it look like it's got an exhaust. Just because we've been rushing everything, we've just been struggling with gas coverage because the door's up, and yeah, there's so much going on and it's hard to be putting everything 100% into everything. But I guess it's good that it's our own car, not a customer's car, even though that's not going to affect the result in any way. But so yeah, so we're going to put oil in the engine. I'm soon going to bleed up the oil pressure. Got a couple plugs out of the side. So we can bleed it up, and then pressure tested the coolant system already. That's full of water and full. We haven't put any coolant in it. We usually try to do the first bit of a run in without any coolant in the system, just run just plain water. So bleed out the coolant. We're going to put fuel for it soon because we've got the fuel system back together. Set the fuel pressure. And then hopefully by around 1 o'clock, which is in 3.5 hours, Mark's going to do a team view of us and we're going to try kick her in the guts. Just updated the Haltech from the ESP software to the NSP software. So yeah, fingers crossed. We're doing pretty well today from yesterday. Yesterday was a bit of a mare. I don't think many of us really enjoyed yesterday too much, but yeah, it's quite cool now to see it nearly finished. So it's given us a bit of drive for today, I guess. Yeah, fingers crossed we get it all done. Alright, so this afternoon's been pretty successful. We got it all running. I'll start up again in a second and show you guys what's going on. Just trying to figure out what's going on with the brakes and the clutch. We sort of had brakes and then we decided to rebleed them. Now we got no clutch and no brakes, sorry, and it's just drawing air from somewhere. So we're giving up on that. We've got handbrake, but then clutch would only build up pressure if we blew air through here and through the system, but wouldn't give us enough to engage gears. So we've just pulled the master and the slave off and cleaned all the gunk out of them. There was quite a bit of gunk in them. So just putting them back in there now, and then hopefully we'll get some pressure and we have some clutch. As long as we've got a handbrake and it moves and we can drive it on, we're pretty happy.
Good enough, eh?
Look at the state of this shop, eh? Fuck, there's a few tins lying around. Big week, big weeks. But yeah, bleed out clutch and hopefully she's all good.